സ്തുതി. എല്ലാവർക്കും അവിടെ ഇരിക്കാം. ഇന്ന് സൺഡേ സ്കൂൾ ദിനമാണ്. ഇന്നത് മെസ്സേജ് തരുന്നത് ഫെഡിലാണ്.
Glory be to the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, one true God. Amen. Our gospel for today is taken from Luke chapter 12, verse 32 to 49. This gospel reminds us not to be afraid, for He is watching us from above. Jesus is encouraging us to put our trust in Him and not to be afraid. Today's gospel reminds me of another story of a businessman. A businessman with a lot of wealth was on his deathbed due to his old age and disease. He was gathered around by his children and relatives. After some time, he dies, weeping that nobody will take care of his shop. Here we can observe that even though the businessman was on his deathbed, he cared about his shop, not about God. Wealth is good and necessary. It should enrich not only the worldly life but also the life after death. If we pay attention only to the worldly life, there is a danger that wealth will become a drawback instead of a benefit for the spirit that extends to infinity. Jesus points out that the riches of the earth is stolen by the worms and moths and will be lost. Blessing. If we earn in righteousness and spend in brotherly love, our riches will become a blessing. Jesus informs us that if the money and possessions will not last for long and can be taken away at any moment by a thief or by death itself. No matter how high we rise with our influence and wealth, we will not last for long and will fall down after a while. But if we bring up these qualities in us, we will keep rising. In the verses 35 to 49, the word reminds us not to be afraid, to wait, to be ready, to be careful, and to fulfill our responsibilities properly and live in such a way that we can give an account of our life at any time. I truly say to you, a righteous servant is faithful and responsible and does his work on time assigned by his master. But if the servant drinks and eats lazily and do not do his duties, he would be punished by his master, who would come at an unexpected time. We know our God's will for our life, and if we don't act upon it or prepare for it, we deserve to be judged. If one commits a punishable wrong without knowledge, the punishment will be lesser. But if one does a wrong despite knowing everything, will receive an extra punishment and will be always vigilant. For fishes to escape the devouring eyes of sharks, and for deers to escape the roaring lions, and to preserve one's soul, one must be constantly on high alert. Remember that if you don't do good deeds, sin is waiting at the door. Jesus loves the people who are in the right path. This reminds me of another story of a father and daughter. Once a father and daughter were flying a kite in the air. After some time, a bigger kite came and cut the string of the smaller kite. The smaller kite flew away and got stuck in a light post. In the same way, the string is our parents, the smaller kite is the children, and the bigger kite is the mobile phone and the bad friendship, which will force us to cut the string of the smaller kite. If we are not in control of our parents, we will go in a wrong way. Jesus, the greatest teacher of all, loved children dearly. Our church is celebrating Sunday School Day, and it is time to stop and reflect the true importance of Sunday School on children's life. Sunday School teaches Bible to us, help us accepting God's grace, and help us growing in Christian faith. It also helps us gaining the ability grow in relationship to God. This is a reminder for us to open our minds and hearts and remember that God knows our struggles and happiness. He is there every day, sees everything we feel, and He is there without us knowing. And He makes sure that we will go through everything. Here I thank our respected Achan and our HM, Elizabeth ma'am, for giving me this great opportunity to speak. Thank you.
From the book of the prophet Ezekiel. Barakimur.
Glory be to the Lord of the prophets, and His mercy be upon us forever.
I felt the powerful presence of the Lord, and the Spirit took me and set me down in a valley, where the ground was covered with bones. He led me all around the valley, and I could see that there were very many bones, and that they were very dry. He said to me, Mortal man, can these bones come back to life? I replied, Sovereign Lord, only you can answer that. He said, Prophesy to the bones. Tell these dry bones to listen to the word of the Lord. Tell them that I, the sovereign Lord, am saying to them, I am going to put breath into you and bring you back to life. I will give you sinews and muscles and cover you with skin. I will put breath into you and bring you back to life. And then you will know that I am the Lord. So I prophesied as I had been told. While I was speaking, I heard a rattling noise, and the bones began to join together. While I watched, the bones were covered with sinews and muscles, and then with the skin. But there was no breath in the bodies. God said to me, Mortal man, prophesy to the winds. Tell the wind that the sovereign Lord commands it to come from every direction, to breathe into these dead bodies, and to bring them back to life. So I prophesied as I had been told. Breath entered the bodies, and they came back to life and stood up. There were enough of them to form an army. God said to me, Mortal man, the people of Israel are like these bones. They say that they are dried up without any hope and with no future. So prophesy to my people Israel, and tell them that I, the sovereign Lord, am going to open their graves. I'm going to take them out and bring them back to the land of Israel. When I open the graves where my people are buried and bring them out, they will know that I am the Lord. I will put my breath in them, bring them back to life, and let them live in their own land. Then they will know that I am the Lord. I have promised that I would do this, and I will. I, the Lord, have spoken. Barakamor.
ആരീരാരം പാടി പാടി നിന്നെ ഉറക്കി നെഞ്ചോടത്തം ചൂടു നൽകി നിന്നെ വളർത്തി ഇത്ര നല്ല ദൈവത്തെ നീ മറന്നുപോയോ ദൈവത്തെ മറന്നു കുഞ്ഞേ ജീവിക്കരുത്